Okay. Bye, sweetheart. Have a good day at school.
Yeah. Love you.
Love you. Oh, hi, buddy. It's school day. It's a school day for Elliot and for Callum. Elliot and Callum, best of friends. Elliot and Callum. Oh, okay. 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 All right. Gonna get these kids off to school. Good morning. So Elliot's finishing his second breakfast and then he's gonna go off to Kita. Bye. Bye, 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 bye. All right, hello everybody. It is a very gray, can't even tell. It's a very, very, very gray day outside. Yesterday, Prince Harry's book came out and I was talking to a friend and she was like, you know, I want to know your opinion because obviously you're an American, so you see the American point of view, but also, you know, you lived in the UK. I have not read his book. To be honest, I'm probably not going to read it. It's nothing against him. It's nothing against the royal family. I just don't, how do I put this nicely? I just don't care. I very much so look at a lot of this as this is a family issue. Deal with it internally. And you know, I understand because I've heard, obviously I've heard clips and sound bites and things and like little snippets of things where he said that he's tried to do it privately. You know, I get it, whatever. I'm just not interested in the drama. I think at this point in my life, I'm just not interested in the drama. That doesn't fill my cup in a way that I feel is beneficial to my well-being or what I have to give to other people. So I just sort of ignore a lot of it. But what I will say, I don't know why anybody would look at the royal family as like an example of character or an example of like how to live your life or like, I guess what I'm trying to say is never believe what you see. You know, here's an example. So I follow the royals on Instagram. Like I just follow their pages. I don't like study them religiously, but I mean, I follow lots of things on Instagram and I'll never forget when one time the kids and I we were in Green Park. Londoners, you know where that is, but it's literally right next to Buckingham Palace. Like St. James Park is in front of Buckingham Palace and on this side and on the other side is Green Park. And we were walking along Green Park. They have obviously trees and stuff and the kids were kind of playing. All of a sudden, there were just like all these sirens and things going off. And we were like, what is going on? And they were like tons of police were clearing the road. And there were even horse police officers that were like clearing the road. And then all of a sudden you see this like brigade of black vehicles, black Land Rovers. And, in one of the Land Rovers, we saw Prince William. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's like a whole thing for him to go from Kensington Palace, which was 5 minutes away, to wherever he's going. Like this whole thing is required to get him from point A to point B because he's, you know, the presumptive heir to the throne someday. And it just like, it blew my mind that this amount of resources and this amount of this and that were allocated to just getting him to an engagement. And like, it was such a spectacle that like everybody on the street, like you couldn't help but just stop and stare and be like, what is this? Because it was literally like a parade of people that just involved getting him to an engagement. So then later that evening, because obviously I saw him and I was like, oh, I wonder where he was going. And on Instagram, they just show like a simple one car pulling up to this. He went to a barber shop. He was stopping at a barber shop and talking to men about mental health and all that. But in the Instagram clip, they just show like like two cars, a car in front of him and then his car. So two Land Rovers. They just show the two little Land Rovers pulling out. He gets right out, blah, 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 blah. None of the other stuff was shown. It just was so different to see it in real life because it was so much more. There's so much more to it. And I feel like that is a good example. That's a very metaphorical example of the royal family in general. It's like, don't for a second think that any interview, anything that they're saying isn't something that hasn't been pre-rehearsed or at least premeditated. I think it's also like common knowledge, at least for living in the UK. Like we knew this. I think it could be a surprise to Americans, but nothing out there is like a big surprise, at least not to me, about the way the firm functions. Like, it's called the firm for a reason. Like, none of that's surprising to me. My personal opinion on the whole thing is that there's an extreme culture clash. I could see it being a bit of a culture clash if Meghan comes and she's full of ideas and she's full of energy and full of this and wants to do this and wants to do that. And I could see that in an institution like Buckingham Palace, like the royal family, that if they already have a bit of a plan for her, then I could see that being very challenging, because essentially what they want her to do is to fit into a box. And it's very hard to do that, especially when she was at this point a fully formed grown adult, you know? I think with Kate, she had a lot of time to get into the role. And I think that a very big part of William marrying her was that he and Catherine work well together. They are a good working team. But I can relate in a sense, because even in my own life here, you know, being in Germany, I have to tone my personality down quite a bit. Like, I don't get to really speak my mind. I have to kind of like keep myself muted to an extent, because I have an opinion, but nobody wants to hear it. You know, like, it's a different culture even for me here in Germany. So I can understand that, and I can understand the frustration. She wants to be an equal, but the royal family isn't based on equality. The royal family is based on a hierarchy, and I think there's probably jealousy on both sides. I could see like William and Kate being a bit jealous, the fact that everyone seemed to really appreciate Harry and Meghan as being this modern couple and modernizing the monarchy. I could see that really like taking a hit to them, like, well, then who are we? What are we? But I could also see on the other side it being very difficult for this person coming into the family with so much, you know, PR surrounding them, so much surrounding Meghan and Harry. And then it's like, well, actually you need to continue to walk behind your brother and his wife. And yes, Meghan, we appreciate you, but you're never going to be the queen consort. There's not one of them in this situation that, just my opinion, that isn't completely spoiled rotten. You know, William and Kate live behind guards and servants and a team of people to help them with anything they want. They can travel if they want to and leave their kids behind, or they can take their kids with. It doesn't matter. They, you know, and good for them. The fact that they get praise for being hands-on parents just shows that they're like completely out of touch with the real world. Meghan and Harry live in this mansion in Montecito that they just had a $100 million Netflix deal. They are certainly not without either. The UK is in an economic mess right now, partly due to Brexit, which duh, you know, literally everyone here in Europe saw that coming. But then also, you know, 2 years of a pandemic. And I think for me, it's just a little bit hard to care when I read the news, the real news, like real things going on, and I see that the number of people relying on food banks to feed their families have gone up 70%. The number of people that are unemployed, that are struggling, that are relying on community centers to provide Christmas for their children, I find that to be more upsetting. I find that to be more frustrating, more disturbing. And I guess I just find it really hard on a personal level to care about what the royals have to say when the people that they're supposed to be serving are in such need right now. So it all just feels very self-centered. It feels very me-focused, me-centered. And quite frankly, I just don't have the patience for that. I guess I just find it really frustrating that this is what's taking up space in the news, that this is what, like, even I'm talking about, when there's so much that's so much more important, to be honest. And honestly, I just sort of feel like shame on all of them. William, talk to your brother. Harry, talk to your brother. Work your crap out. Because I can tell you, if that were my kids, whew, no, absolutely not. Oh my gosh. Hey guys, this was all clean earlier today, and the kids have been home this afternoon, and now look at it. Oh my gosh. So interestingly, it's Callum's side is always super clean, but it's Linnea and Elliot. My gosh, they are a force to be reckoned with. So we're actually about to get the kids to bed, and Rome and I are gonna do Jamondo. Hey, you brushed your teeth? Okay, then come this way, come here. So everyone, your new car corner? Let's see your new car corner. Yeah. This is your special space, isn't it? They're friends? Well, don't they need to go night-night in their basket?
Probably.
Huh?
Probably.
Probably? Well, then put them in.
Go night.
Ooh, gentle. There we go. There we go. That's their night-night spot. We've got the little bluey house that he got for Christmas.
Yeah, we got this.
Yeah, and you got your rug for Christmas, huh? Good
night, Mama.
Good night. Good night, Callum.
Good night, Mommy.
All right, let's go. Boop. Friday night. Movie night. Dinos and fries.
Not just anyone can do it. You have to be majestic. You have to be dignified. Well, a butt. Or at least
3 little cuties. Oh my gosh, they're so cute.
I'm Fred O'Hare.